The balance of global power is shifting, not through wars, not through revolutions, but through trade, technology, and quiet strategy. While the West debated politics and ideology, China was building something far greater, an empire of influence, woven into the very structure of the global economy. A silent revolution that changed the rules without ever firing a shot.
In the 1980s, China was still a developing nation, recovering from decades of turmoil. But what began as small economic reforms under Deng Xiaoping soon turned into one of the greatest transformations in human history. Factories multiplied, cities expanded, and millions rose out of poverty, all while the world underestimated what was coming. By the early 2000s, Made in China wasn't just a label, it was the backbone of globalization. From smartphones to cars, from medicine to microchips, the world became dependent on Chinese production. It wasn't just cheap labor, it was control over supply chains and over the future.
In 2013, Beijing launched the Belt and Road Initiative, a project to connect more than 60 countries through infrastructure, ports, and railways. It wasn't a military alliance, it was economic diplomacy, empire building through contracts, not conquests. By funding development, China quietly bought influence, from Asia to Africa, from Latin America to Europe.
The 21st century's true battlefield isn't fought with tanks, but with algorithms. Huawei, TikTok, BYD, and countless Chinese tech giants began challenging Silicon Valley's dominance. While the West feared espionage, China was mastering innovation, creating its own parallel internet powered by state strategy and private ambition.
Every click, every purchase, every movement, data became the currency of the new world. China understood this earlier than anyone. By merging state oversight with corporate technology, Beijing built a system that not only tracks behavior, it predicts it. This isn't just surveillance, it's power through information.
While China expanded outward, the United States turned inward. Political division, endless wars, and economic inequality eroded global trust. China didn't need to defeat America, it only needed to outlast it. And while Washington debated, Beijing was building.
In regions long neglected by Western powers, China offered loans, technology, and infrastructure. Highways in Kenya, ports in Brazil, solar farms in Egypt. Each project came with strings attached, not political, but financial. Debt became diplomacy, and China became indispensable.
Even Europe began to look east. Countries like Greece, Italy, and Hungary welcomed Chinese investments, while others struggled to decide between profit and principles. For the first time, Europe was torn between its Western alliances and Beijing's economic opportunities.
For decades, the US dollar ruled the global economy, but China has been quietly pushing for an alternative, the digital yuan. If the world starts trading energy and goods in China's currency, it could redefine global finance and weaken America's greatest weapon, its money.
From films and fashion to philosophy and education, China is spreading its culture across continents. Confucius institutes, online platforms, and media exports shape perceptions, showing a modern, confident East. It's not propaganda, it's soft power, influence built on identity.
The West calls it manipulation, China calls it progress, but the truth lies somewhere in between. As nations align, resist, or adapt, one thing is certain: the world of 2050 will not be led by the same powers that ruled 1950.
China didn't conquer the world through force. It did it through patience, precision, and persistence. The silent takeover wasn't a headline, it was a process.
And now, as the East rises and the West questions its place, one question remains. Is this the end of Western dominance or the beginning of something entirely new?